Dear students, welcome to another lecture in Management and Organizational Behavior. In my previous class, I have explained you about the role that is played by a HR manager in any organization. Now in this class, let me talk about the wage and salary administration. In general, any employee or worker works only for one single element, that is for monetary benefit. Every other benefit that is received by any individual who works for an organization is just secondary to him, and it is money around which all the efforts of individuals are revolved around. Thus, payment of wages and salaries and administration of the same is very much crucial for the survival of any organization. And wage and salary administration is one of the important operational functions of human resource management, apart from the other operative functions like employment, training and development, performance appraisal, job evaluation, so on and so forth. And in general, wage refers to the remuneration that is paid to workers or people who work on a day-to-day earning basis, whereas salaries are the remuneration that are paid to generally employees who work on a permanent basis and who receive their remuneration on a monthly basis. And wage and salary administration is a process which is involved with the fixation of wages and salaries for different levels of people who work for an organization, and administration of the same keeping in view the internal and external factors that affect the fixation of wages and salaries, and disbursement of wages and salaries on time to all the people at all levels, and bringing the discomforts or inconveniences or grievances of employees and workers with respect to wages and salaries or with respect to incentive payments to the notice of management, and so on and so forth. Thus, the term wage and salary administration is very wide in its meaning, and it contains several sub-functions which are part of it. And in general, the wage that is paid to any worker may include basic wage, and for an employee we may call the same basic remuneration element as a basic salary. And apart from basic wage, every worker may receive some amount of bonus, which is usually given only once in a year depending upon the profitabilities of organizations. And the wage structure of any worker also includes a dearness allowance, which is given to workers in order to cope up with the ever-growing prices or ever-growing trends of inflation in any economy. And apart from dearness allowance, workers and employees are also given certain fringe benefits in the name of transportation facilities or medical facilities or whatever. And some companies may even give overtime allowance or overtime pay for those workers who work beyond the normal working hours of 8 hours per day. Thus, the wage structure in any organization in general includes basic pay, which is either basic wage or basic salary, dearness allowance, fringe benefits, bonus and overtime allowance, so on and so forth. And compensation that is paid to working community at large may be generally categorized into two groups, namely direct compensation and indirect compensation. Direct compensation is that compensation which is directly associated with the kind or nature of work that is performed by any individual in any organization, and direct compensation is in general directly associated with the performance of individuals. Such direct compensation in any organization may again include basic pay, traveling allowance, medical expenses given to the working community, and general insurance facilities given to the workers, travel concessions, so on and so forth, and any other kind of benefit that is directly associated with the nature of work that is performed by individuals in an organization. Whereas the second element of compensation that may be received by employees at any level include indirect compensation. Indirect compensation generally includes any compensation that is not directly linked to the performance or otherwise of employees, and such indirect compensation may include common facilities that are given to employees at any level, namely transportation facilities or reimbursement of medical expenses in the event of hospitalization of either employees or their family members, and then leave travel concession or telephone facilities that are given to the employees and workers, and any other facility as deemed to be essential for the well-being of individuals of an organization. And in general, the process of determining wages and salaries for employees and workers include certain essential steps. Generally, in order to fix either wages for workers or salaries to the employees, the first and foremost thing that is taken up by organizations is to conduct job analysis and job evaluation processes. Job analysis is a process in which all the jobs are studied in detail to extract information about the elements that are inherently present in every job. By elements that are inherently present in every job, we mean the job nature, characteristics of a job, duties and responsibilities that are part of a job, and the human abilities or qualifications that are required to perform any job, and any other relevant factor that is likely to affect the fixation of wages and salaries. Thus, simply speaking, job analysis refers to collection and analysis of all pertinent facts about different jobs in an organization. And such job analysis is further categorized into two different statements, namely job description statement and job specification statement. Job description statement means the statement that is prepared which highlights or narrates the duties and responsibilities that are involved in every minute job in an organization, whereas job specification is a separate statement that documents the human abilities, qualities and characteristics that are needed in an incumbent to perform the stated job. Both job description and job specification together form part of job analysis. After collecting and analyzing all the pertinent facts about all the jobs in an organization, the next thing which companies do is to take up job evaluation. As the name itself suggests, job evaluation means evaluating or measuring the relative worth or value of each job in an entire organization based on the duties and responsibilities involved in every job, and based on the physical and mental hardship that is involved in any job. So, basing on the results of job analysis and job evaluation, the relative worth of every job is found out. By relative worth, we mean the comparative value of every job in relation to other jobs in the same department, or in relation to other job in the in the entire organization. And such job analysis and job evaluation forms the basis for fixation of wages and salaries. Generally, in any company, wages and salaries are not determined basing on the individuals who perform such jobs. Instead of that, wages and salaries are always determined on the basis of the relative worth or value of job. That is the reason why, in order to fix wages and salaries, it is important to understand and analyze what are the duties and responsibilities that are involved in each job, basing on which the hardest to less harder jobs are found out, and ranks are given to different jobs on the basis of their relative hardness. And the second step in the process, of course, is job evaluation, and the third step in the process of fixation of wages and salaries is pricing of different jobs. After careful conduction of job analysis and job evaluation, wage structures or salary structures are fixed for every individual job basing on the number of duties and responsibilities that are involved in every job, and based on the hardship that is required to perform various jobs. Generally, jobs which require more mental abilities or mental work are given higher pay than those jobs which require lesser mental abilities or mental capabilities. And after fixing the basic salary structures or wage structures, the next step is to decide upon the method of wage payment. These days almost every organization is paying or disbursing wages and salaries only by way of a bank payment, and deciding upon the mode of payment is the next logical step in the process of wage and salary administration. Once wage and salary policies are fixed or determined, the final step is to continually evaluate the effectiveness of wage and salary policies that are determined originally. Because any kind of wage and salary policy cannot be claimed to be ideal in all the situations, and in order to modify the wage and salary policies from time to time, it is essential to conduct employee opinion surveys and thereby bring necessary modifications. And in general, whenever companies fix wages and salaries for their working community, certain underlying principles have to be kept in mind by the managements. The first such principle is to maintain equity in terms of wages and salaries. Again, such equity may be of two types, namely internal equity and external equity. By internal equity, we mean that the pay that is given to any individual member of an organization should be in par with the pay of any other employee who perform a similar job. So in essence, by this we mean that internal equity should be able to establish equal remuneration to all those who perform equal quantum or type of work. And again, equity may also be referred to as external equity, or equity may also be interpreted from the external context even. By external equity of wage and payment, we mean the pay that is given to any employee in any department shall be comparable and shall be in par with the pay that is received by similar employees in competitive organizations. Thus, only when a company is able to maintain both internal as well as external equity with respect to wage and salary payments, it will be able to attract and retain talented employees. And another underlying principle behind wage and salary administration is maintenance of competitiveness. Generally, only those companies which pay attractive pay packages or salary packages to employees are regarded as good companies from the viewpoint of society, and as such, in order to be regarded as a good employer, a company should always offer attractive wage and salary packages to all its working community. And again, a wage and salary administrative policy of any organization should also meet employee expectations at least to a reasonable degree possible, and it should also reinforce a positive performance, and it should encourage people to work more harder and harder. And a sound wage and salary policy should be capable of avoiding any kind of discrepancies in terms of wage and payments, and it should get maximum or optimum employee-employer relations or good employee-employer relations. And a good wage and salary policy must be able to maintain good internal relations or industrial relations, as well as a good or sound wage and salary policy should be able to maintain industrial harmony. And to narrate the objectives of a sound wage and policy administrative system in any organization, we can say that a sound wage and salary structure and administration of such sound wage and salary structure is essential for any organization to attract talented people. It is essential not only to attract talented manpower but even to retain such talented people, because all the time people try to move from one job to another only in anticipation of a better pay. So whenever managements are able to meet the expectations of employees at least to the maximum possible degree, they can retain talented employees, and not only that, in order to provide fair and equitable remuneration to all the employees, there must be a sound mechanism for the fixation of wages and salaries, and also there must be a sound system of administration of the same. And again, a sound wage and salary administration policy of an organization must always ensure direct linkage between performance and remuneration that is received by employees at all levels. It must keep and uplift the employee morale, and good employee relations are possible only with the sound wage and salary administration system. And a sound wage and salary administration system always aims at the maximum employee performance, and it is in a sound wage and salary policy system must always facilitate impartial payment of wages and salaries. And wages and salary levels in any organization are generally dependent on two main factors, namely internal factors and external factors. The levels of wages and salaries that are offered to working community in any organization above anything largely depends upon the abilities of organizations to pay. Generally, basing on the profitability of organizations, companies pay either moderately good pay packages or higher packages only basing on their financial affordability. Thus, we can say that the financial capacity of organizations is the ultimate factor that affects the levels of wages and salaries in any organization. And second to the ability of companies is the strategy of an organization with respect to wages and salaries that has a significant influence on wage and salary systems. And basing on the results of job evaluation and performance appraisals also, companies try to vary the levels of wages and salaries to its working community. Job evaluation, as I have said earlier also, is a process wherein the relative worth of each job is compared and found out, and basing on such relative value of every job, wages and salaries are modified from time to time. And again, employee performance and individual employee characteristics also to some extent determine wage and salary levels. And external factors affecting the wage and salary levels in any organization may include external market conditions or general trends in the economy, labor demand and supply conditions, and then productivity of a certain category of workers or employees, cost of living that is prevalent in any society, and influence of trade unions in the aspect of fixation of wages and salaries, and the labor laws that govern the wage and salary payment systems.